Hello. Whew. Welcome everybody. Wonderful to be here with you. We are here in the right place at the right time. I'm just checking. It has been quite a day so far. So, yeah, welcome. Hi Danielle, good afternoon. Today we are going to be talking about kind of the in-between place. For those of you that know, you can't return to the way things used to be. You can't return to an old way of living, an old way of relating, choosing, old mindsets, old ways of showing up in the world, and still maybe being in a place of not having full clarity on what's next and how to move forward. So we're going to be looking at this in-between place and exploring that, feeling into that, why it might feel destabilizing, uncomfortable, to not have full clarity yet. Hi Johnny, welcome. So we're going to be just looking at orientation, being where you are in this pause place when you don't know the next step necessarily. So we're going to be diving into that. I also do need to say I'm in the middle of taking care of something and I might have to just send a message. Actually, I'm seeing it right now because I think I am going to go. Let me just look at this. Okay. Well, that answers that. Hi, Wendy. Yeah, I think I'm going to go away for a few days. So that's happening right now. And yeah. So I get to take care of that when we finish the live stream. It's been a interesting day. How has everybody's day been so far? Is it just me? What's the energy been like for you? I know there's a lot happening in the world and humanity and the collective and the stars and the astrology, all of the above. I am feeling it today. Hi Laura, nice to see you. I think it's been an intense time for many, really, and I think it's really helpful to slow down and just acknowledge that, because it brings understanding to how we feel. It doesn't mean that it's like making excuses, just that it brings understanding and awareness. And for me, it helps me to be like, okay, it makes sense that I feel this way, that this is what's happening, that this is what I'm going through. And then we can even reorient that back to our topic today of like feeling uncertain, feeling unsure, feeling on the precipice of something. And it's okay, it makes sense. So let's just slow down together and take a breath into this. Wherever you are, however you're joining in right now, however you're feeling, whatever's happening for you, whatever's going on, even in this moment, I just acknowledge all of you for pausing, joining here, for us to share this beautiful sacred space. I was in a coaching session with a client the other day. This client had just come from, she lives in Europe right now, although she's American, and she had just come from, overseas travel. And our session was like the day after she landed, and then she was leaving the next day to go to Central America for a retreat. And then she had this agenda of things to do in this like one slice of day in the US. And, she had these things top of mind, these agenda items, and, things that were important. And what I had us do in the session was slow down. And this is pertaining to what we're talking about here of like, okay, there might be things to do, and wherever you're at, you're going to much better be able to handle and interface with whatever's going on from a place of your cup having some fullness in it and not giving from an empty cup. So we didn't talk about all of the things, all of the bullet points that her mind wanted to bring to the session. We slowed down into the present moment, into the body. We did some Reiki, we did some ancestral clearing, we drew some cards, and we really just slowed down and nourished. And so if life is bringing you similar energies and things, and yet maybe you don't have the path forward, perhaps life is bringing you this opportunity to just slow down, to be in the pause, and just feel the nourishment of that. Because transformation has this middle place where you're no longer doing things in the old way, or no longer your old self, but you don't yet feel strong and solid in where you're going. And all of these things that might be pulling at your mind, feeling like they're have-tos and they're energies, that will be there. So if there's that monkey mind, that part that wants to be like, but no, we have to. It's like, thank you. And if there's not a step clear yet, or if it feels overwhelming and it doesn't feel solid, maybe now is not the time. And what is for you, you can't mess up. You can't make a mistake if things are for you. Hi, Jacqueline, welcome. So let's just pause and breathe into that energy. If you feel restless, if you feel uncertain, it's kind of like I'm getting the image of being in the womb. I don't know what y'all's beliefs are. I have my own. I'm not here to convert, and I do share because it's my context. But, I do believe that we're not just one soul, one life, that's it. That we come and come back and come again and incarnate. So if you think about it from that view of like a soul choosing to come into physical incarnation again, think of all of the intention, all of the energy, all of the happenings that have to occur for the sperm to meet the egg and grow, and then the soul come into that and incubate and then be born into this three-dimensional reality. But there's this waiting period while the baby grows, while the soul anchors more deeply into the physical experience. So the fetus is completely nourished. All its needs are met in an optimal situation. In the atmosphere of the womb, there's all of the nutrients are delivered, all of the waste is extracted. It's, in most cases, like perfection. Just all your needs are met in this beautiful in-between space. It's warm. And yet, that incubation phase is needed for the next mind-blowing shift into three-dimensional birth and reality. And for those of you that have had children, you have witnessed that. How intense that can be. I have heard somewhere that coming into physical incarnation is actually much more stressful and scary and challenging than leaving incarnation. And that makes sense. Hi Sheila, welcome. Did I say that already? So, if you're feeling like if you can relate to this incubation phase, the message is like self-care here. How can you nourish yourself? How can you trust the process? I love that Spirit has brought this analogy. If you think about, choosing to come into form again, being, growing in the womb. It's like having to evolve to a point where the body is ready for the physical birth. And there needs to be a lot of nourishment and support and total trusting and letting go. A baby has to be in full surrender. There's no other choice. So for you in your life, if you're relating to this, maybe the invitation here for you is to just totally trust and surrender and let go without knowing what's coming. Yes, it has been a while, Sheila. Thank you for saying hello. So if things are at a place where you don't know the next step and you feel that part of you that's like, but I need to know, Spirit is saying it's time for you to incubate. You are nourishing, you are building, so that when the time has come, you will be ready. So it might be, some tangible examples for some of you might be like there's a breakup, but you're not ready to date yet, or you're single, you've left a job, but you haven't started the next one, or you're still looking, or maybe you've moved to a new place, feeling unsettled, ungrounded. For some of you, I know I have a client who is, more than one, dealing with empty nest. Children leaving and that identity being gone. Or maybe you've healed physically. So give an emoji in the chat or a heart or type yes if you can relate to this experience. So you might feel restless. You might feel doubtful. You might be in a lack of trust and fear. It doesn't mean anything's wrong. This is just part of the process, Wendy. And two, I mean, really, y'all, what's happening in the world, it's like, I'm sure you've heard this analogy, being in a pot filled with water, and then you turn on the heat, but you warm up with the pot so you don't feel the heat as much because you're warming up with it. That's how it is to live right now in our reality. And the heat's pretty damn high, y'all. Who else can feel that? And it's only going to keep going. And you know, if you believe in this paradigm, I do. It's like we signed up for this. We wanted to be here for this. Hi, Mindy. Yeah, I love that analogy. Trying to be in the surrender, and then also sometimes acting out, kicking, screaming, so you feel like you're in control. I love that. Yeah. And you know, I love Abraham Hicks. One of my favorite quotes I say all the time: you can't get it wrong and you'll never get it done. This journey never ends. That's the nature of it, a constant state of evolution and expansion. And so this is where our spiritual or religious practices and disciplines and beliefs come in. You know, what context do you see this world in? Are you living from a context of everything is, you know, here to help me, everything's here to conspire for my best and highest good, there's a benevolent, loving force, even if it doesn't look like it? Or are you coming from fear? And it's not that one's right or wrong, it's just what feels better. Hi, Kim. So Abraham Hicks says you can't get it wrong and you'll never get it done. Meaning you can't and she also says this, you can't get off the path, because there is only the path. There's no off or on the path. So meaning there's no mistakes, there's no failure, there's not even, quote, you know, bad. And that's a whole different spiritual discussion. So in this pause, what for you individually, what lessons do you get to learn? For me, I've got a lot. I mean, I live in uncertainty. And you also want to think about this too. What is your tolerance for uncertainty? What is your tolerance for risk? What is your tolerance for the unknown? Hi, Lotus. It's been a while. And again, this isn't a judgment, it's not about a measuring stick of, you know, what's good or bad. It's just, you know, how comfortable are you with uncertainty? With surrender and trusting without having the next action? And there's a lot of uncertainty right now. So again, as I said earlier, just about normalizing or validating your experience. So what in your life is no longer working? What in your life are you leaving behind? Where is life calling you forward into something new, but you might just be feeling maybe stuck or like there's no forward momentum? You know, where I'm seeing this come up for me is my living situation. Because, you know, I've been living overseas for 13 years. I've had various setups over the years of what sorts of visas I've been on. Anybody that's lived overseas knows, like, that's, you know, a huge part of it. And living where I am right now, there's a lot of uncertainty. Around that for me, and that directly ties to my future and where I'm living and for how long. And it's like I can sleep at night and there's always this little thing back here. Now, some people would not be able to tolerate living this way. And again, it's not about better or worse, right or wrong. It's just about adaptation, what you've gotten used to, what your comfort level is. You know, there's some people on the planet, they've never traveled outside, you know, a small radius, and that's fine if that's what they choose. Lotus, feeling the fear of uncertainty, working to let go, control, surrender. Yeah, it is hard, and it's possible. So we want to look at, you know, how can you work with yourself in this in between? You know, if you don't honor this incubation phase, as I'm calling it, this pause phase, you might just recreate the same problem in the next situation. You need integration, incubation time. Thanks, Jacqueline, for the quote. There might be some healing or some integration that doesn't get to happen if there's a rushing forward. Or maybe you'll just, again, like bring the old baggage into the new relationship, the new job, whatever. Hi, Alicia. Good morning. So what is this pause? What is this in-between phase teaching you about yourself? How can you work with maybe being in uncertainty or in uncomfortability? For some of you, I feel like this whole baby analogy, right? Like, some of you feel like you're in the womb and you've been in there like almost 9 months and it's getting really uncomfortable. And your home is getting smaller and smaller, and you're feeling that restlessness of being born into the next level and the next transformation. And you know, that's a great analogy as well of like what change requires, and we've talked about this recently. You know, when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change, you will change. If the pain of staying where you are is worse than the pain of change, then you'll actually change. But for most people, it's more painful to change because it's scary and uncomfortable and difficult and challenging. So it's easier to just stay where you are. So once that flips, once you can no longer tolerate where you are, then you will change. So just like the baby that's growing and, you know, the mom is about to pop. The baby is and the mom is very uncomfortable. So what can you do to nourish yourself during this time and honor this time where you can no longer go back to the way things were? And this might be for some of you like habits or addictions or old ways of being or mindsets, things you're trying to leave behind or change within yourself, and you know you can't go back, but yet you know it's going to take a while to actually integrate the changes. You might be in, you know, the chrysalis, in the cocoon would be another great analogy for this time for some of you. You know, that caterpillar has to have all the time that is necessary for it to be inside of the cocoon. If you get it out too early, it will die. Its wings won't be ready. So you get to honor this part. Hi, Karen. Yeah, so working with the part that feels that discomfort, that feels all of these things. So this is the birthplace of who you're becoming. So it's a time and space for you to honor this. I'm going to draw some cards around this because I'm getting some images of some of the cards here, the light seers. And I did forget to introduce myself earlier, so if you're new here, I'm Natalie, spiritual life coach, Reiki master teacher, and don't forget to give me a follow here if you care to. I'm also streaming this on YouTube, so you can follow me there and catch all the replays. And you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and my YouTube, and you can get all that info here in my teacher profile on Insight Timer. There is a link to everywhere that I am. You've probably also heard of me mention my new Etsy store, which is breakup recovery tools and resources. So for some of you, if you're going through like a breakup, this topic is perfect about everything that we're saying. So if you want further support on that, I have digital resources in my Etsy store, Heartbreak Recovery Co. I would appreciate your support over there too as I'm growing my shop. Let's see. Ace of Cups. So for some of you, you really just get to slow down and take care of yourself. I mean, she is holding her own heart. So you get to hold yourself. You get to honor yourself. You get to really nurture yourself right now and give your heart what it needs. It's one of my favorite cards in this deck. I want to look up the affirmation for this card as well. Let's see what it says for us. Wonderful Lotus. So you can search anyone that chooses to, or you can ask me for the link in a message. You can look these up. So the affirmation is, my heart is open and filled with love. My heart is open and filled with love. So I invite you, if you're in resistance, maybe you're judging yourself or blaming, shaming yourself that you should be further along and there's something wrong, or any of all of that self-gaslighting, that you really slow down and affirm to yourself, my heart is open and filled with love. Oh, I love that, Alicia. Yeah, that's a great point. Some of you may be scared of who are you without your story. If you don't have this thing, this identity, you might be very disoriented. I've talked about this before. I had a dramatic spiritual awakening around 25 years old, where I had an overnight instant disbelief in my prior Christian beliefs. It disappeared in an instant. It was very disorienting and very uncomfortable for 2 years. I no longer had my comfortable Christian upbringing beliefs that I had totally believed until I didn't. So it was very scary. You're welcome, Karen. So this card is about new connections, new romantic relationships, friendships, seeds of love and hope, newfound emotions, awakening the heart, joy, positive emotions, oneness, bliss, creativity. So nurturing all of that. Relatable, Wendy. Hi, KP. Yes, I live in India, so I have many shawls like this. Let's see what else Light Seers has to say. You know, this is just too a reminder of love. There's so much fear in the world, and you get to be really mindful of your use of technology, because it's very intense and very addicting. So you really get to be mindful of that. You know, it's like the information just comes in. If you don't control it, it can control you and your moods. Yeah, right now I'm living in Mexico, Sheila, and also I do live in India as well, part of the time. So we have the Six of Cups. So this is a card of nostalgia. You can see, look at the little boy in there. It's a little boy and a puppy, and then a man and his dog. So this is another card of the heart, card of emotions. So for some of you in this, you know, what we're talking about today, you get to remember, like I said earlier, like, why are we here? We chose to come here, all of that. You get to remember love. You get to remember loving connections, loving times. You get to remember it's not always been this way. You get to remember you've been taken care of up until now, and you will continue to be taken care of. And that this can help shore up your faith. So let's just breathe into that, into this beautiful heart center. You've been taken care of your whole life up until now. You're here, you're in one piece, you're safe in this moment. You've lived through every experience you've lived through. I'm really feeling something energetically opening up here. And I invite you all to just breathe into this. It's really about just trusting this process And we're never going to arrive, as I said, we can't get it wrong and we'll never get it done, because there is always a process unfolding. We never stop. It never ends. It's mind-boggling. So it's like orienting into that like disorienting truth actually helps ground you. It's a paradox. Yeah, Mindy, and if it's ancestors, if it's guides, if it's angels, archangels, animal totems, gods, goddesses, spirit, source, love, higher power, universe. This is the energy you get to come out of. Five of Swords. Conflict. Internal conflict. But yet, if you aren't focused on that conflict, look at what you are. You're free. You're connected. KP, I've lived in different places in India. Most recently where was Tiruvannamalai, Pondicherry. Ooh. Underneath all of this, for some of you, is this devil. Look how hot he looks. And how tempting. But yet, the devil. He will control you. He will manipulate you. He will hold the puppet strings. And, you might just think you're worrying. But there's actually like an addiction here to thought processes, to certain mindsets, certain beliefs. So it's like this is the antidote. Look at how different these cards are, just looking at them. Are you going to come from love, or are you going to come from fear and comfort? Devil can be about comfort zone. Stuck and trapped. It could be actual addictions, full-on addictions. And we're all addicted to our thinking, so newsflash. We are all addicted to our thinking. So it's about shifting from fear to love. No, not Oroville, just Pondicherry. King of Wands. So, in the middle here, I can't hold it all, but this king is in the middle of these two. This King of Wands. Your courage, your certainty, your faith. I'm going to pull this up in the and see what messages it has. No, not Wands. Oh, wait. Typo. There we go. Wonderful, Alicia. Wonderful, Karen. Choosing love. We get to choose. We forget we have a choice sometimes, and that's okay, but that also can be that tempting devil. So we build this empire of light together. We build this empire of light together. This is a card of being an entrepreneur, a natural born leader, a creative visionary, successful ideation, fearlessness, and timelessness. So this is a card of masterpiece, soul inspiration, epic success. It asks you where you are headed and what you really want to achieve. What keeps your fire turned on and your passions ignited? Make sure you recharge your energy and take time for awe, beauty, and wonder. Boldly express that offbeat weirdo you've got inside and be absolutely unapologetic in your pursuit of excellence. Express your visionary creativity by unleashing your ideas in wild new ways. If you find yourself getting caught in the weeds of your situation, it's time to see the bigger picture. Recruit help to avoid the minutia, as you can only create something this stellar by being at the helm of your vision. Holler passionately from the top of the mountain and invite others to see what you see. Your perspectives may seem curiously avant-garde or unique, so invite them to partake in the momentum. Love, career, health, it all gets a positive boost within the fire of this passion. So this is a card of vision. So it's like while you're in this incubation phase, don't lose track of this energy. And recruit help. You can't do this alone. To get free from this devil, to get free from this energy, you need support. Let's close our eyes and just tune into this energy a little bit more. And just feel into this deliciousness. Just feel into this fire energy, this wands, this King of Wands. Burning away the fear, burning away the stagnation, burning away the restlessness, the doubt, the indecision, the fear, that Five of Swords, the worry. Just allow Spirit to burn this away. The illusion of separation, the illusion that you can't do it. And just feel this in your third eye, in the space between your eyebrows. Feel clarity coming. Feel new passion, new energy. Feel this fire burning away stagnation, stuckness. And new energy coming through. And that percolating in that beautiful heart center. Bringing new desire, new inspiration. New creativity, love, and passion. You might want to breathe in and out with a sigh. letting all that heaviness go, all that stagnation, doubt, indecision, fear. And stuckness. And just feel that new beginnings energy, that creation, that certainty, that desire, that knowing. This is a big cleansing that's happening energetically right now. So just allow that to come in, move in through and around you. And I just want to invite anybody who's really feeling into this, if these dynamics are landing for you and you haven't already booked your gifted visioning process with me, now's the time to do that. It will really help solidify and get clear on what all this is specifically for you. So it's a gift to the community if you haven't received a gifted session with me. Send me a message and reach out. You can just text vision. And then of course the last card is this beautiful Four of Swords, which to me this embodies the energy of this entire session. It's a card of self-love, resting, meditation, relaxing, taking care of yourself, retreating, so that that beautiful King of Wands energy can come in and integrate the heart. And just burn away these energies, burn away these strings that the devil has. And I'm going to take action on this by going on a trip, like right after our session. I'm going to get ready. I'm going to go. I'm going to take action on this. It's not a big deal, but it's coming out of nowhere. And it's like a 2-hour bus ride to the second biggest city in Mexico. And I'm going to spend a few days there in this beautiful little place. And my next live stream may actually be from there. It probably, most likely will be. So, you know, I love it here. I love where I live. In this place, this little town is a cocoon. You can just easily come in here and never leave, because this is a little cocoon from reality. And I love it. I love it so much. And sometimes we need that stimulation. Thank you, Angie, Adrian, Jacqueline. Yes, I got that, and I was thinking, I wonder if that was you. I will get back to you, most likely today. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lotus. Hi, Lara. Thank you. Thank you. You are also wonderful. We are all wonderful. Hi, Jay. Thank you so much. Yeah, so our next live stream is yeah, it's going to be my 5-year anniversary. My 5-year Insight Timer anniversary giveaway will be Sunday, so how appropriate. I actually probably will move the time an hour earlier, because of checkout. I will be checking out that day. Yeah, I probably will change the time. So if you have RSVP'd, they don't let you change times in a live stream. You have to cancel and make a new one, even if it's just like a 15-minute time difference. So I'm gonna likely cancel this, move the time earlier, and join my group, Natalie's Healing Circle, here in Insight Timer. I will probably make an announcement about it. And if you follow me, you'll get notified. You'll get notified. If you've RSVP'd, it will say it's been canceled. But then if you follow me and I'm going to book it again, then it'll say, oh, Natalie created a new event. So, and I will be doing a giveaway at the end for a gifted session with me. And I do offer my visioning process, as I said, as a gift to the community. And the giveaway can include that if you feel drawn to it. And also it can include a one-on-one personal card reading. So I do the collective readings. They're very powerful, and you can get your own personal reading if you do win the giveaway, or my Reiki and ancestral clearing session that includes a mini card reading, actually. And that would be, 2 very powerful one-on-one, or 3 options for you. Thank you, Karen. I live on Lake Chapala, near Guadalajara, on the biggest lake in Mexico, if anybody knows. So yeah, it's going to be an adventure the rest of the day to take a bus, 2 hours. There's a lot of traffic. Without traffic, it's only like 45 minutes, but traffic. So yeah, this feels good. My power is out. So I came onto this live, as for those of you who have been here since the beginning, and I mentioned it's been quite a day. The power's been out since yesterday, since 24 hours now. I do thankfully have one power outlet working with my Wi-Fi on it in my charger. And I do have the light. So I think Spirit is telling me to shake up with that King of Wands energy for me. So what can you do? It might not be doing what I'm doing. But yeah, thank you, Jacqueline, for the donation. If anybody cares to donate, you can through the app or other ways as well. And follow me. That also helps. So I will see you all Sunday. Have a wonderful morning, afternoon, and evening. And if you feel the call to reach out for the powerful visioning process, send me a message and join me too on my 5-year celebration as a teacher on Insight Timer Sunday. You're welcome, Sheila. Much love to everybody. Namaste.